rebuilding your technique after restarting the flute can be a real challenge. If you are like many others in this community, then you probably didn't play your flute for 10, 20, even 50 years before returning to it. Your tone is just not what it was. Your fingers refuse to move the way that they used to. And honestly, you're probably feeling really overwhelmed by this process. So today I am going to bring some calm into the chaos and guide you through some absolutely essential technical practices that I do with my students restarting this beautiful instrument. Stick around until the end of this video because I have got an extra little special surprise for you to help you on your practice journey today. If you don't know me, my name is Tatiana and this is the Flute Practice, a space to help you grow on this beautiful instrument. The first group of exercises that are really useful to practice, whether you've been playing for 20 years or whether you've just restarted, are long tone exercises. You might ask, what are long tone exercises? Well, great question. And basically it is exactly what it says it is, which is you play a tone on the flute for as long as possible. But there are lots of different types of long tone exercises, and the exercise that I'm going to recommend today is a particularly great exercise for players who are rebuilding their tone. And what we're going to do is we're basically going to play some nice octaves. Now I start this exercise on the low F, but you could probably start this exercise anywhere. I just find this F a really comfortable place to start on the flute. It's not too high, it's not too low. It's what I call the Goldilocks of notes on the flute. So we're going to start with the F and then we're going to play up to the second register F and then back down again. So it'll sound like this. You want to do that with a sense of calm and stillness. Don't rush through this exercise. Please do not rush. Now the important thing with this exercise is the movement of the lips and the feeling of the air. We do not want to just force out and squeeze the air. Rather, we want to find this lovely movement of the lips coming forward as we go up the octave and then back down as we go down again. I'm going to drop a video in the description down below all about air direction and air speed and understanding the differences here because this is really crucial for your tone. But basically, as we go up, we want to increase the angle of the air and increase the speed of the air slightly. And we don't do that by squeezing and tightening and forcing out the air. Rather, we do that by swinging those lips and jaw forward a little bit, just a little, and increasing the speed of the air gently. The next thing that you should absolutely be practicing are your scales and arpeggios. And I can feel some of you rolling your eyes at me because generally, there are two responses to this. Either students are really overwhelmed, they just don't know how to play their scales, or they're really bored by those scales. And I'm hopefully going to have a solution for each of those two groups today. So, if you're in the camp that are overwhelmed by your scales, you're not alone. Such a common thing that I hear with students coming back to the flute. Either you've just totally forgotten your scales or nobody ever taught you your scales, which I'm sorry that happened to you. I see students make two big mistakes when it comes to learning scales. The first mistake is you're trying to learn all your scales, and the second mistake is you're trying to learn them all in one go. So let's unpack that. When you're learning your scales or you're restarting the process of learning them, you do not need to be doing all your scales at that moment in time. Over time, you're going to start adding more and more scales to your repertoire until you've done all 12 keys. But in the beginning, it's okay to say, I'm just going to learn F major, G major, and C major. So basically the scales with the first sharp and flat, and of course C major. And then gradually add to that. So then you want to go 2 sharps and 2 flats. And then you want to go 3 sharps and 3 flats, 4 sharps, 4 flats. And you gradually add your scales as you go. Now, even if you are learning those first 3 majors or first 3 majors and minors, you don't have to be doing them all immediately. I love to tell my students to learn 1 scale a week. Yes, it sounds little, but it's really powerful. Just F major the whole week and the arpeggio, of course. Don't forget about your arpeggios, but just F major, and then the next week you do G major, and then the next week you do C major, or whatever system you like to follow. There is a place to revise your scales, of course, where you're going to test your scales and see if you know them. But when you're learning them, don't overload yourself by trying to do all of them in one go. Now, if you are part of that camp that finds scales really boring, here's my, I think, fun exercise that I like to do. And that is a scale exercise. Now, this scale exercise is not my own. It was passed on from my wonderful teacher, and I absolutely love it. And to this day, I actually still use it as one of my top favorite warm-ups. Here's how this exercise goes. So you play just one octave of whatever scale you're working on. So F major, we're going to play just one octave. Then we jump to the G in the low octave, do the next octave. Then to A. For those of you who have the flute practice scale book, we actually have this exercise along with a whole bunch of other really fun scale exercises in it. I will say though, this book is suited to your more intermediate to advanced players. So if you're finding that you're having to go back to the very beginning and restart the whole learning process, then please do not buy my book. I'm serious, do not buy my book. I'm joking. You can buy my book if you really want to. You'll use it later down the line. But this book is really for those of you who are coming back. It's going to take a bit of time to get back into it, but then you're actually going to be at a fairly advanced level already. This is a really great way to practice your scales. There are practice plans in there that literally tell you what exercises to do every single day. You're never going to have to wonder, what should I be doing? Just follow the plan. We've also put together a nice scale course, which you can do. Again, more advisable for your more advanced players, but this might be a really great way for you to get back into your playing and your practice. We don't just do scales, we do lots and lots of other really wonderful things, which brings me to my next point. And that is two really fantastic technical exercises that I absolutely love to do. But, my friends, there are thousands of technical exercises out there. And I mean, I have no exact number on it, but I can guess thousands. You could do any of them. Any of them. The important thing is not what you practice, it's how you practice it. This is one of our kind of little mantras or slogans here at the Flute Practice, because it is so important. Even with the scales that we just did, it's not really about what scale you play, it's about how you choose to play it. Are you using it perhaps to work on your tone and your breathing? Are you playing it nice and slowly and getting calm, even fingers? And likewise with these exercises that I'm about to give you, don't worry so much about the exercise, worry about how you're going to use it. Now, that being said, I do find that these two technical exercises stand out above the rest, in my humble opinion. I love them. And so I highly recommend, if you're lost and confused, go straight to these exercises and work with them. The first exercise is an exercise from Tufnell and Goubert's 17 daily exercises, an absolute favorite little exercise. And we've put a link down to that whole book down below. It's exercise number 7. For those of you who don't know the books, Tufnell and Goubert, very famous flute teachers and players and composers, and they wrote this really epic flute method book that is actually freely available online, which is amazing. But if you open it up, it is very overwhelming because there's a lot in there. This particular exercise, exercise number 7, on its own even looks quite overwhelming. I'm going to play a little of it so you can hear how it sounds, and then I'm going to give you some nice recommendations. So, that's the basic idea. It takes you through a whole bunch of different finger patterns, and the main thing is it's really good for doing the fingerings in that middle register area. You can of course also do it in the high register. I could do with some practice on that one. The high register is so great for getting to grips with those high register fingerings. If you're terrified of your high register, this is the exercise for you. If you are restarting though, please don't start in the high register. Please don't start in the high register. I actually recommend that you get really comfortable with the first 2 registers and then go into the high register. But okay, that was just a little extra bonus tip. This exercise is really a powerful exercise, but it's overwhelming. It's really overwhelming. If you look at the exercise, I mean, it's just notes and notes and notes on a page. So And I was going to tell you this at the end of the video, but I'm going to share it with you now because I can feel your blood pressure rising and the overwhelm beginning. We are writing out all of these exercises that I've mentioned, the octaves, the scales, and these technical exercises. We're writing them out for you in an easy to follow format. So just a small excerpt and part of the exercise that honestly, if you just practice that, you're doing great. You can then go to the full exercise, but we're putting all these exercises for you into our handout. You can go down below and click on the link to get your free copy of it. Give us your details and we will pop that straight into your inbox. And if you're having any problems receiving our emails, please do let me know, because I would hate for you to miss out on this wonderful resource. The next technical exercise that I absolutely love is Ret Daily exercise number 2. Similar to Tafel Gobert, Ret wrote all these fantastic exercises. This particular one I just think is really beautiful. It's a beautiful and fun exercise to play. Now again, if you look at the full page, it is overwhelming, very, very overwhelming. So we've written out an easier version for you guys that you can play and you can work with. And then you can go to the full overwhelming one and have some fun with that. But here's how this exercise sounds. Now, I love to use this as a tone exercise, actually. It's a really good one for intervals and for fingers and for all of that. But as a tone exercise, it is so beautiful. You could slow it down to half that speed. You could just do one measure of it. Like, honestly, if you just did this. That's it. Ta-da! That would be really, really, really good for you. And it happens to be, I think, really pretty. So it's a wonderful exercise to play. Okay, now let's get back to the how for a quick, brief little moment here. Because you could take both of these technical exercises, you could practice some articulation. So just doing it all tongued. Or you could do it and really work on good breathing. So you're going to take a nice full breath. So maybe slow it down. To see how far you can get with the breath. Of course, you can just work on getting a beautiful full sound. If you're more advanced, you could work on vibrato with this exercise. There are so many great things that you could be doing with one single, simple technical exercise. And so I hope you're starting to get a sense of really why it's not what, but how you practice, and find a technical exercise, any technical exercise, and approach it with this mindset. Simplify it, make it easier for yourself, and then ask yourself, what skill am I practicing when I practice this? Now, doing all this lovely technical work, long turns, scales, technical exercises is super important. Absolutely. But you also need to be doing some things that are going to grow your passion and remind you why you restarted. Because the danger of giving up in these early stages of relearning the flute is really high. It's a frustrating part of the journey, really frustrating. And a lot of people drop off because they don't do this next thing, which is play beautiful melodies. I'm serious. Play pieces that you love, tunes that you love, things that are nice and easy to play. Find some beautiful things, whether it's on TomPlay, a great suggestion for a really fun app that I absolutely recommend that you get. The link is down below. And we're giving you just even a little bit extra because we really want to help you along this journey. And so we're giving you a whole collection of some of my favorite beautiful tunes to play. It's in that same handout that we're giving you, so go and click on that link and get your handout. But play these beautiful melodies primarily because they're beautiful, because you love them, because it reminds you of why you love the instrument, but also because it actually has a sneaky little side benefit, which is it helps to improve your tone. Marcel Moyes, very famous Marcel Moyes, wrote a whole book of just beautiful melodies to work on your tone with. So this is not anything new, but in my opinion, one of the funnest ways that you can actually work on and improve your tone. So next time you're feeling guilty about playing those Disney tunes or any other pieces that you like, don't. You're doing some nice tone work. Now you may want to go ahead and watch this video next, where we are going to show you some of the big mistakes that you might be making as you restart the flute. Otherwise, don't forget to get your nice freebie right over here. Go and sign up for that. Happy practicing, and I'll see you guys over in the next video.